3 months after the standoff with the Vaxari fleet, the formal peace ceremony was prepared in the grand hall of the Vaxari High Temple. The ancient building with its soaring crystal arches and polished stone floors had never before welcomed alien visitors. But today it was filled with both Vaxari and human delegates. Lieutenant Olivia Winters adjusted her formal uniform as she stood with the other officers from the HSS Harbinger. The ship had been fully repaired, its systems upgraded, and its crew honored for their role in establishing first contact. Despite the difficult beginning, the diplomatic mission had ultimately succeeded. Though not in the way anyone had expected, Captain Melissa Carpenter spoke quietly with Admiral Leah Bennett at the front of the human delegation. Both women wore their most formal uniforms decorated with the medals they had earned throughout their careers, their posture perfect, their expression serious yet approachable. Across the hall, High Commander Thexil and his officers waited, their blue skin contrasting with their silver ceremonial armor. The military caste had been reluctant at first to accept peace, but after studying human defensive strategies, they had gained a new respect for the species that valued protection over conquest. The religious elders entered last, their white robes flowing as they walked slowly to the center of the hall. The eldest among them carried an ancient scroll, supposedly containing the prophecy that had helped ease tensions between the two species. The grand ceremony began with traditional Vaxari music, deep resonant tones that filled the hall. The elder unrolled the scroll and read in a clear voice, "The scattered ones shall come from beyond the stars. They shall appear weak but contain great strength. When threatened, they shall gather, becoming whole. Their ships shall form the sacred pattern and harmony shall follow." Captain Carpenter stepped forward as the human representative. She bowed respectfully to the elder, then turned to address the gathered crowd. 3 months ago, we came to your space-seeking friendship, she began. We came as one ship, showing trust and peaceful intent. When misunderstanding led to conflict, we demonstrated another principle of humanity: our ability to adapt, to protect, and ultimately to forgive. High Commander Thexil stepped forward to stand beside her. "Our species has known great suffering," he said, his voice carrying throughout the hall. "We have faced extinction and survived. It made us cautious, perhaps too cautious. We saw threat where there was only difference. We attacked what we did not understand." The Vaxari commander turned to face Melissa directly. "You could have destroyed us," he acknowledged. "Your fleet was positioned throughout our territory, your technology superior in many ways. Yet you chose restraint. You disabled rather than destroyed. You protected innocent worlds rather than conquering them. These are not the actions of an enemy admiral." Bennett joined them, completing the triangle of leadership. "Today we formalize what began in conflict but ends in understanding," she said. "A peace built not on fear, but on mutual respect. Both our species have learned to scatter our strength to survive. But we are stronger together than apart." The elder raised his hands and the great doors at the end of the hall opened. Engineers from both species rolled in a large object covered in ceremonial cloth. Kara Novak, standing with Nicole Reeves and Diane Harper, gasped softly. She recognized the technology beneath the covering. "This is our gift to humanity," said Thexil, gesturing for the cloth to be removed. The covering fell away, revealing an advanced quantum communication array. Its design clearly Vaxari, but modified to be compatible with human systems. With this said the Vaxari commander, "Your scattered ships will never be truly separated. Your harmony will be stronger. Your symphony, more beautiful." Captain Carpenter accepted the gift with a formal bow. "In return, we offer this," she said. 2 human officers brought forward a small crystalline device that pulsed with soft blue light. "A quantum shield generator," explained Melissa, "designed to protect rather than attack. It creates a defensive barrier that adapts to any weapon. Like humanity itself, it appears simple but contains great complexity." The exchange of gifts was followed by the formal signing of the peace accord, the first true alliance between humans and Vaxari. A document that acknowledged past misunderstandings, but looked toward a shared future. After the ceremony, the crew of the Harbinger gathered in a smaller chamber for a private celebration. Kara had already begun examining the Vaxari quantum technology, her eyes bright with excitement at the new possibilities. Nicole and Diane discussed cultural exchange programs with their Vaxari counterparts. Captain Carpenter found Olivia standing alone by a window looking out at the Vaxari capital city, its spires gleaming in the light of the setting sun. "What are you thinking?" Lieutenant asked Melissa, joining her at the window. Olivia smiled. "All this started because they could not believe we would send just one ship." Melissa laughed softly. That was their first mistake, underestimating human strategy. "The irony is, we did bring just one ship. The others were already here waiting." The captain grew more serious. "We learned from our past," she continued. "Every time humanity nearly faced extinction, we adapted our approach. The Protocol Hydra strategy came from painful lessons when we tried to show our full strength immediately and frightened potential allies. Like the Teslani incident said." "Olivia." Melissa nodded. "Earth lost a potential friendship because our fleet alarmed them, so we developed a new approach. Show minimal presence at first, while maintaining hidden strength." She looked across the room at Admiral Bennett, who was speaking with Thexel. "The Admiral created Protocol Hydra after studying centuries of first contact scenarios. Why was I chosen for?" the Harbinger asked Olivia. "I had no idea about the protocol. That was exactly why," explained Melissa. "Your reactions had to be genuine. Your tactical decisions in crisis needed to be natural, not rehearsed. You were selected for your adaptive thinking, not for your knowledge of a plan you were never meant to know." Admiral Bennett approached them. "A communication from Earth," she said. "The expansion of Protocol Hydra has been approved. The Harbinger will lead a new diplomatic mission to the Centauri." "Alliance with the same crew?" asked Melissa. Bennett smiled. "They specifically requested Lieutenant Winters and your engineering officer, Novak. They were impressed by the reports of your adaptive tactics and engineering innovations." Olivia felt a surge of pride, though she kept her expression professional. "We learned a lot from this mission," she said. "Indeed," agreed Bennett. "But the most important lesson was for the Vaxari." She gestured to where High Commander Thexel was examining a model of the Harbinger. With obvious admiration, "Never judge a species by a single encounter. Never assume you see their full strength, and never underestimate humanity." The commander noticed their attention and approached with a respectful nod. "My scientists have been studying your quantum duplication technology," he said. "Most impressive. Even more so considering it was damaged when you used it against us." Kara, who had joined the group, grinned. "That was the beauty of it, Commander. The system was designed to appear unstable, unpredictable. It made the duplicates seem more realistic when they flickered or vanished suddenly." Thexel made a sound that might have been laughter. "You humans are full of surprises," he admitted. "The religious caste believes your Protocol Hydra fulfills another prophecy about deception that protects and illusion that reveals truth." Later, as the celebration continued, Olivia found herself speaking with a young Vaxari officer who had been part of the first patrol to encounter the Harbinger. "When we first saw your ship, I thought it strange," said the Vaxari, "that such an advanced species would send only one vessel. I said to my commander, no species would be so foolish, and now asked Olivia." The Vaxari officer looked around at the humans and Vaxari, mingling together, sharing knowledge and building friendship. "Now I understand," he said. "One ship was all you needed to change everything." As the evening ended, Captain Carpenter gathered her crew for a final toast before they would return to the Harbinger and prepare for their next mission to Protocol Hydra. She said, raising her glass, "The strategy that begins with one ship but never ends there." To the Harbinger added Admiral Bennett, "The ship that appears alone but never truly is. To peace through dispersed strength," echoed the others from across the room. High Commander Thexel watched the humans with new understanding. He turned to the elder beside him. "These humans are strange," he said. "They hide their strength until needed. They scatter to survive yet remain united. They send one ship yet bring so much more." The elder nodded wisely. The prophecy spoke true. The scattered ones who become whole when needed. Their harmony protects all who listen. He looked at the humans with ancient eyes. So different from the Araxes who destroyed, yet so similar in their methods, a worthy ally for the coming darkness. What darkness? Asked Thexil, alarmed. The elder simply smiled. The story continues, Commander. As all good stories do, with new challenges, new allies, and new harmonies. The humans have taught us an important lesson. Never show all you have. Never be exactly what you appear, and never ever assume that one ship means there are not more waiting beyond sight. As the Harbinger prepared to depart the next morning, Captain Carpenter stood on the bridge. Her crew at their stations, the ship once again appeared as a simple diplomatic vessel, though they all knew better. Now course? Captain asked Olivia from the tactical station. Melissa smiled. Set course. For the Centauri Alliance, Lieutenant Protocol Hydra continues. Begin the next movement of the symphony. The Harbinger moved gracefully. The bridge of the HSS Harbinger fell silent as everyone stared at the view screen. The spatial distortions grew larger, hundreds of them surrounding the Vaxari fleet. Inside each ripple, darkness gave way to stars and then to shapes. Metal hulls gleaming. In the light of the distant sunship, said Olivia Winters, her voice barely above a whisper. Human ship's Captain Melissa Carpenter stood tall at the center of the bridge, a small smile on her face. Hundreds of vessels emerged from the spatial pockets, where they had been hidden. Some small and fast, others massive and powerful. All bearing the insignia of Earth, one Vaxari battlecruiser turned toward the nearest human vessel, firing its main weapons. The energy blast passed through empty space as the human ship moved with impossible speed. 3 more human vessels appeared behind the Vaxari ship, disabling its engines with precise shots. Protocol Hydra. Final phase, said Melissa. The real concert begins. The quantum communication system activated. Once more a hologram appeared on the bridge, larger and clearer than before. Admiral Leah Bennett stood before them, her uniform crisp, her expression stern. Well done, Harbinger, said the Admiral. You kept them distracted exactly as planned. The symphony is ready. From the largest spatial rift emerged a massive vessel unlike any the crew had seen before. Long and elegant, with sweeping lines and multiple weapon arrays. The HSS Symphony, the flagship of the hidden human fleet. Diane Harper monitored the Vaxari communications. They are in complete disarray, she reported. Some ships are preparing to fight. Others are trying to surrender. The command structure has broken down. Kara Novak worked frantically at her engineering station, trying to restore power to critical systems. We still have life support and minimal shields, she reported, but weapons are offline and hull integrity is at 40%. Nicole Reeves studied the sensor readings of the human fleet. These ships have been waiting for months, she said. They were already positioned in subspace pockets throughout Vaxari territory. Before we even arrived. Olivia looked at Captain Carpenter. This was the plan all along, she said slowly. We were bait. Not just bait, corrected Melissa. The key. The conductor. The Harbinger was always meant to lead the symphony. She gestured to the view screen where the human fleet had formed a perfect defensive perimeter around the Vaxari forces. Not attacking, but containing. Admiral Bennett spoke from the hologram. The Harbinger will be retrieved and repaired. Captain Carpenter, your next phase begins. The Symphony extended a tractor beam, pulling the damaged Harbinger toward its docking bay. The smaller ship nestled against the giant vessel like a child returning to its parent. Once aboard, the crew of the Harbinger was escorted to the Symphony's bridge, a vast command center with dozens of officers working at advanced stations. Admiral Bennett greeted them personally. 37 days exactly, said the Admiral with approval. You exceeded expectations, Captain. Thank you, Admiral, replied Melissa. But my crew deserves the credit. They performed admirably, despite not knowing the full mission parameters. Bennett nodded acknowledgement to the others, then turned serious. The Vaxari High Command has requested communication. They seem eager to understand what is happening. Patch them through, said Melissa. A large screen activated, showing High Commander Thexil, his blue skin pale, his large eyes wide, with a mixture of fear and rage. What is the meaning of this invasion, he demanded. How long have you had ships hiding in our territory? This is not an invasion. High Commander answered Admiral Bennett calmly. These vessels were positioned after we detected your species scanning Earth ships in neutral space 2 years ago. They have remained dormant, observing only activating when you attacked our diplomatic vessel without provocation. Thexil seemed taken aback. Your diplomatic vessel contained hidden weapons and technology. He argued it was clearly a scout for this invasion force. Melissa stepped forward. Every species protects its diplomatic missions. High Commander, she said. Our ship had defensive capabilities only as is our right under galactic protocols. You attacked before we could explain properly, before true diplomacy could begin. Dr. Nicole Reeves moved forward with a datapad. Admiral, she said quietly, I have analyzed the historical records we retrieved from Vaxari communications. She turned to Thexil. I believe I understand the source of this conflict. The Vaxari commander stared at her warily. 400 years ago, continued. Nicole, your species was nearly destroyed by the Araxis. They used quantum technology similar to ours. They appeared suddenly, attacked without warning, and vanished. You have feared their return ever since. How do you know this? Demanded. Thexil, we study history, replied Nicole. We learn from the past. When we detected your civilization, we researched everything we could find before sending a diplomatic mission. And hidden ships added, Thexil bitterly. A precaution, explained Admiral Bennett. Humanity nearly faced extinction twice in our early days of space exploration. We learned painful lessons about first contact. We hope for peace but prepare for misunderstanding. That is why Protocol Hydra exists. Diane Harper, who had been monitoring Vaxari communications, looked up suddenly. Admiral, the Vaxari religious caste is requesting to speak with us. Their elders are citing something called the Prophecy of the Scattered Ones. Bennett looked to Thexil, whose expression had changed to one of surprise. The religious prophecies are ancient myths, said Thexil dismissively. But your people believe them, noted Melissa. Perhaps we should hear what they have to say. The screen split, showing an elderly Vaxari wearing elaborate robes. His skin was pale, almost white with age, but his eyes were clear and sharp. The scattered ones who become whole, said the elder, his voice quavering. The prophecy speaks of those who hide among the stars, separated but united. When threatened, they gather, becoming an unstoppable force. Yet they do not destroy. They protect the formation, said Olivia suddenly. The way our fleet is arranged. The elder nodded. It matches the sacred pattern. The harbinger leads. The symphony follows. The harmony protects. Kara looked at the tactical display. The human ships had indeed formed a specific pattern around the Vaxari vessels. Not threatening, but protective, a perfect defensive screen. This is your way, said the elder to Admiral Bennett. You appear weak until threatened. Then you reveal your true strength, but you do not conquer. You defend. Bennett nodded. That is humanity's philosophy. We scatter our strength to reduce risk, but we remain connected, ready to combine our power when needed. We call it peace through dispersed strength. Thexil studied the humans for a long moment. Then he straightened his posture. Perhaps we have misunderstood each other, he said slowly. I propose a ceasefire. While we discuss these matters properly, I agree, said Bennett. The human fleet will withdraw to neutral space but remain ready. Your ships will return to your territory. None will fire unless fired upon diplomacy. We'll resume properly. The Vaxari commander hesitated, then nodded agreement. Over the next several days, the crews of the Harbinger and Symphony worked together to establish proper diplomatic channels with the Vaxari. The human fleet remained visible, but non-threatening, their presence a reminder of humanity's capability, but also of their restraint. In the officers' lounge aboard the Symphony, Olivia found Captain Carpenter staring out a viewport at the stars. You knew all along, said Olivia, accepting the drink Melissa offered her, that the Vaxari would attack, that we would need to activate Protocol Hydra, that the fleet was waiting. Melissa sipped her drink. We suspected, she corrected. Our intelligence suggested the Vaxari had encountered the Araxis and feared any species with similar technology. We hoped for peaceful contact but prepared for misunderstanding. Why not just bring the fleet from the beginning? Asked Olivia. Show our strength, avoid the conflict, and confirm their fears. Answered Melissa. That we are conquerors, that we use our strength to intimidate. They needed to see that we could have destroyed them at any time but chose not to. That is the true message of protocol. Hydra Admiral Bennett joined them holding a datapad. Captain, she said your reports have been processed. Protocol Hydra is being updated based on your experience. The Harbinger will be fully repaired and upgraded. She paused, a small smile forming. Your crew has been recommended for commendations. Thank you, Admiral, said Melissa. What happens now? Bennett looked out at the stars. Phase 5, she said. The true concert, peace negotiations. Nicole entered the lounge, excitement clear on her face. Captain, she called. The Vaxari elders have invited us to a ceremony, a formal recognition of the prophecy fulfillment. They want to establish permanent diplomatic relations, and the High Command asked Melissa Diane, who had followed Nicole, smiled. They are sending representatives too. She said the military caste seems eager to learn about our defensive strategies, especially Protocol Hydrakara joined them last, her uniform fresh after days working on the Harbinger's repairs. The ship's almost ready. Captain, she reported, we can rejoin the fleet whenever you're ready. Melissa looked at her crew, at the stars beyond the viewport, and at the Vaxari ships now positioned peacefully alongside the human fleet. 37 days, she mused. We went from nearly dying to changing the course of interspecies relations. It's what we do best, said Olivia. We adapt, we surprise, and we bring more than expected. Always, said Melissa with a smile. The human ship, HSS Harbinger, moved slowly through the darkness of space. The stars around it shined like tiny diamonds against the black backdrop. Lieutenant Olivia Winters stood at her station on the bridge. Her eyes focused on the screen in front of her. The Vaxari homeworld grew larger as they approached. Captain Melissa Carpenter sat in her command chair, her back straight and her face calm, despite the importance of their mission. This was the first contact between humans and the Vaxari, a species known for their advanced technology and careful nature. I hope they are in a welcoming mood today, said Melissa. Her voice steady, but Olivia could hear the small hint of worry. Olivia nodded without looking away from her screen. The Vaxari had been watching human expansion for years without making contact. Now, after months of sending messages, they had finally agreed to meet. Kara Novak, the chief engineer, walked onto the bridge, her red hair tied back in a messy knot. We are running at peak efficiency, Captain, she reported with a small smile. Even with those weird energy spikes near the outer hull, keep an eye on those spikes, Kara, Melissa ordered. We need everything working perfectly for this meeting. The Harbinger was a diplomatic vessel, large but not threatening in appearance. It carried no obvious weapons, and its shields were designed to protect, not attack. That was the human way when meeting new species. Show peace first. A light flashed on the communication station. Incoming. Message from the Vaxari, announced Diane Harper, the communications specialist. Her fingers moved quickly across her panel on screen, ordered Melissa, straightening in her chair. The screen filled with the image of a Vaxari. Its skin was pale blue with small ridges along its face, its eyes large and dark, studied the humans with clear intelligence. Greetings, Captain Carpenter. The alien spoke in a deep voice. We are surprised to see only one vessel for such an important meeting. Melissa smiled warmly. We come in peace, High Commander. Our single ship demonstrates our peaceful intentions and our trust in the goodwill of the Vaxari. The alien made a sound that might have been a laugh. One ship seems unwise for a species traveling so far from home, but we welcome you to our system. Please follow the path our guide ships will provide. The screen went dark. That went well, said Olivia. Though something about the exchange bothered her. One ship seemed to surprise them. Humans had learned long ago that showing too much strength too quickly often led to fear and conflict. Better to appear humble, even vulnerable at first. The Harbinger followed two small Vaxari vessels toward the larger ships waiting ahead. The fleet was impressive, at least 30. Vessels of various sizes, all sleek and powerful looking. Melissa stood and walked to the main view screen. Something feels off. She muttered only loud enough for Olivia to hear. They have a lot of ships for a peaceful welcome. Olivia checked her readings. The ships all had active weapon systems, though not directly targeted at the Harbinger yet. Kara called from her station. Captain, those energy spikes are getting stronger, and they seem to be coming from the Vaxari ships. Some kind of scan, I think, before Melissa could respond. Alarms blared across the bridge, multiple weapons locks. Captain shouted Olivia, her fingers flying across her console. They are targeting our engines and communication array. Melissa rushed back to her chair. Open a channel now, she ordered. Captain, the Vaxari ships are charging weapons, warned Olivia. The main screen came to life, showing the same Vaxari commander, his expression now cold and hard-high. Commander, there must be a misunderstanding. We come in peace, Melissa said, keeping her voice calm despite the danger. The Vaxari hissed. There is no misunderstanding, human. We detected your hidden systems. Your ship carries concealed technology. Your claim of peace is false. Melissa looked genuinely confused. I assure you our vessel is exactly as we described. A diplomatic ship with standard defense systems only. Nothing is hidden. Your lies will not save you. Human, the Vaxari. Supreme Command has reviewed the scans. No species would send a single vulnerable ship unless it held secrets or was merely a scout for others hidden nearby. The commander leaned closer to the screen. Where is the rest of your fleet? Human, we brought no fleet, insisted Melissa. This is a diplomatic mission only. The Vaxari made a dismissive gesture. Your deception is noted. We will not allow humans to establish a foothold in our territory. The communication cut off. Evasive maneuvers, shouted Melissa as the first energy blasts rocked the ship. Olivia activated the defensive protocols, her hands steady. Despite the chaos around her, the ship turned sharply, avoiding the worst of the attack. But several hits landed on their port side, damage to decks 3 through 5, reported Kara, as she worked to redirect power shields at 60% and dropping Melissa. Gripped her chair as another blast hit them. We need to retreat, she ordered. Plot a course away from their fleet. The Harbinger turned and accelerated away from the Vaxari ships, but they followed, firing continuously. Olivia worked the defensive systems, keeping the most critical parts of the ship protected. There is a nebula about 2 light minutes away, Olivia said, pointing to her screen. The gas clouds might hide us long enough to make repairs. Take us there, ordered Melissa. Then she turned to Diane. Send an emergency message to Earth. Include all scan data of the Vaxari ships and their attack. Make it clear we did nothing to provoke this. Another hit rocked the ship, knocking out the main lights. Emergency power kicked in, bathing the bridge in a red glow. Message sent, confirmed Diane, though I'm not sure it got through. Their jamming is strong. The nebula loomed ahead, a vast cloud of purple and red gas. The Harbinger limped toward it, trailing debris and venting atmosphere from its wounded hull. We will make it, promised Kara, though her voice was strained as she fought to keep the engines running. As they entered the nebula, the Vaxari ships slowed their pursuit. The strange gases interfered with sensors and weapons, making it dangerous to follow too closely. The ship shuddered as they went deeper into the cloud. The lights flickered and consoles sparked. Find us a place to hide and make repairs, Melissa ordered, gripping her chair as the ship lurched again. I will see what I can do, answered Kara, already heading toward the engine room to handle the repairs personally. On the main Vaxari ship, the commander watched the humans disappear into the nebula. His second-in-command approached carefully. Should we follow? Hi, Commander, asked the younger Vaxari. No. Let them hide for now. They cannot escape. Our fleet surrounds this sector. The commander turned to face his officer. Begin full military mobilization. Contact all outposts and colonies. The humans have revealed their hostile intentions, but it was only one ship, noted the second. The commander made a sound of dismissal. One ship. Surely the humans brought more. No species would be foolish enough to send a single vessel into unknown territory. They are out there hiding, watching. His eyes narrowed as he stared at the nebula. We will find them all. 7 days passed inside the Crimson Nebula. The HSS Harbinger had changed dramatically. Its once smooth hull now featured angular plates and hidden weapon ports. The bridge had expanded with new stations, and the engine core pulsed with energy that had been dormant until now. Lieutenant Olivia Winters studied the tactical display the Vaxari fleet had spread thin, searching the nebula for phantom ships. Their formation had gaps now, weaknesses that could be exploited. We should move soon, said Olivia, pointing to a section at the edge of the nebula. Their patrol pattern leaves this area open for nearly 6 minutes during each rotation. Captain Melissa Carpenter nodded. We will use that window, but not to escape. Our mission has changed. The quantum communication system chimed softly. Melissa pressed a sequence of buttons and a holographic image appeared above the center console. A stern-faced woman in an admiral's uniform looked back at them. Admiral Leah. Bennett said, Melissa, with a respectful nod, Captain. The admiral acknowledged. Your situation report was received. The concert is being arranged, but you must hold for 37 more days. Can you maintain your position? Melissa glanced at Kara Novak, who had just entered the bridge. We can maintain and do more, Captain, Kara said confidently. Protocol Hydra Phase 2 is ready. Excellent, said Admiral Bennett. We need you to create disruption. The Vaxari must divide their forces. Be careful, Captain. This is not just about survival anymore. The Admiral paused, looking serious. Reports indicate the Vaxari are targeting neutral systems. They believe these worlds may be harboring human allies. That changes things, said Melissa, her expression hardening. Indeed. Complete your mission. Parameters. Expanded. 37 days, Admiral Bennett out. The hologram disappeared, leaving the bridge crew in silence. They are attacking innocent worlds, said Diane Harper from her communications station. Her voice shook with anger. We need to stop them, said Olivia. But we are just one ship, Air. We, Melissa asked with a slight smile. Kara, show them what Protocol Hydra Phase 2 can do. Kara activated a new console at the engineering station. The ship hummed as power redirected to previously unused systems. This will create quantum duplicates of the Harbinger, she explained. They will appear solid to sensors but are actually just energy projections. They cannot fight, but they can distract. How many can we create? Asked Olivia. 6 stable projections, answered Kara, with our current power levels. For about 20 minutes each. Then we need to recharge. Dr. Nicole Reeves looked up from her science station. I have been analyzing the historical data we found in the Vaxari transmissions. She said the Vaxari were nearly destroyed centuries ago by a species called the Araxis. The Araxis used technology similar to quantum duplication. The Vaxari believe we might be related to their ancient enemy. That explains their hostility, said Melissa. But we can use that fear. Show me where the nearest Vaxari attack is happening. Diane pulled up a star chart. A small agricultural world called Penthos. They have minimal defenses. Set course, said Melissa. We leave the nebula in 2 hours. The Harbinger emerged from the crimson, clouds looking damaged and vulnerable. Its hull scorched, its movement erratic like a wounded animal. But inside, the crew worked with precision, preparing for their first counterattack. A Vaxari patrol spotted them immediately. 2 warships moved to intercept now, said Melissa. Kara activated the quantum systems. The space around the Harbinger shimmered as energy coalesced into 5 identical copies of the ship, each one moving in a different direction, each one appearing damaged. The Vaxari ships hesitated, unsure which target to pursue. Olivia implemented the attack plan she had developed. The real Harbinger accelerated toward the planet, while the duplicates ran interference. The Vaxari ships split up, trying to chase all targets. We have 12 minutes before they realize which ship is real, said Olivia. Make them count, ordered Melissa. The Harbinger raced toward Penthos, where a Vaxari destroyer was firing on a settlement, its weapons creating explosions across the planet's surface. Weapons. Ready, announced Olivia. Target locked, fire, said Melissa, her voice calm. The Harbinger's hidden weapon ports opened. Advanced pulse cannons fired precise shots that disabled the Vaxari destroyer's engines and weapons without destroying the vessel. The enemy ship drifted powerless, its attack on the planet halted. 2 more Vaxari warships are entering the system. Warned Diane, time to disappear, said Melissa. Kara activated the quantum duplicator again, creating a new set of phantom ships, each one heading in a different direction, while the real Harbinger slipped away using its enhanced stealth systems. For the next 2 weeks, the Harbinger continued this pattern of hit-and-run attacks, appearing at Vaxari incursions, disabling their ships, and vanishing before reinforcements arrived. Each time they used the quantum duplicates to confuse the enemy. Each time the Vaxari became more frightened, more convinced they faced a large human fleet. The Vaxari High Command gathered in their central war room. Reports from across the border systems filled the large displays, each showing disabled Vaxari ships and strange sensor readings of multiple human vessels that appeared and disappeared. High Commander Thexil slammed his fist on the tactical table. These humans are using Araxis technology, he growled. How many ships do they have? We cannot confirm actual numbers, said a subordinate officer. The sensors show multiple vessels, but when our ships arrive they find nothing, or just debris. They are toying with us, said Thexil. They appear where we attack neutral worlds, stop our operations, then vanish. They must have a large fleet hidden somewhere. Another officer approached cautiously. High Commander, some of our captains report seeing the same damaged ship at multiple locations. The one from first contact, they believe the humans may be using quantum duplication. Thexil stared at the officer. Is that possible? Theoretically, said the officer. But to create such perfect duplicates would require technology beyond our understanding. Find that ship, ordered Thexil. Find the real one. These humans and their tricks will not save them. Back aboard the Harbinger. Melissa called her senior staff to the bridge. Their latest mission had been successful. But the ship had taken damage. Its quantum system strained from constant use. 22 days have passed, said Melissa. We have 15 more before Admiral Bennett's deadline. We need to increase disruption force the Vaxari to spread even thinner. Kara looked concerned. The quantum duplicator needs time to cool down. Captain, we are pushing it beyond design limits. Can you enhance it? Asked. Melissa. Kara thought for a moment. I might be able to modify it to create larger projections, she said slowly. Not just copies of the Harbinger, but different ships, bigger ones. It would use more power but might create more fear. Do it, authorized Melissa. Nicole interrupted, her expression excited. Captain, I found something in the Vaxari data. Their command network uses a hierarchical, System A cascading communication structure. One primary node controls multiple secondary nodes. Diane leaned forward, understanding immediately. If we could disrupt the primary node, every ship connected to it would lose coordination, finished Nicole. How do we find this primary node? Asked. Olivia. I have been tracking their communication patterns, answered Diane. It moves between command ships but follows a pattern. We can predict where it will be. Melissa smiled for the first time in days. This is what we need, a way to create maximum disruption with minimal risk. Over the next few days, Kara modified the quantum duplicator while Nicole and Diane worked to identify the Vaxari command node. Olivia developed a tactical plan that would use their limited resources for maximum effect. On the 28th day, the Harbinger positioned itself near a Vaxari fleet gathering. Their sensors identified the command ship carrying the primary communication node. Begin Phase 2. Enhancement, said Melissa. Kara activated the modified quantum system. The power drain was immediate. Lights dimmed throughout the ship as energy redirected to the duplicator. The space around the Harbinger warped and shimmered. Then massive shapes began to form. Huge battleships, dreadnoughts, carriers, all bearing human markings. All appearing to emerge from spatial rifts, the Vaxari fleet reacted with panic. Ships scattered in all directions, firing randomly at the Phantom. Armada. Olivia directed a precise attack on the command ship, targeting its communication array. A single shot from the Harbinger's main weapon disabled the primary node across 3 star systems. Vaxari ships suddenly lost coordination, their tactical networks failing as the command structure collapsed. "It's working," said Diane, monitoring the Vaxari communications. "Their captains are reporting a massive human fleet. Some are even surrendering." "We need to keep the pressure on," said Melissa. "Push to the next target." The Harbinger jumped to another system, creating another phantom fleet, causing more disruption, but the constant use of the enhanced quantum system was taking its toll. Warning lights flashed across engineering consoles. "Captain, we have a problem," called Kara. "The quantum core is overheating. The modifications are putting too much strain on the system." "How long?" asked Melissa. "Maybe 2 more jumps," answered Kara. "Then we risk catastrophic failure." "We need those 2 jumps," said Melissa. "Make them count." The Harbinger made its next jump, appearing at the edge of a major Vaxari military installation. Again, the Phantom Fleet materialized, this time even larger, more threatening. The Vaxari responded with massive firepower, firing at targets that could not be hit. In the chaos, the real Harbinger slipped closer to the installation, its enhanced sensors mapping defenses, identifying weaknesses. The final jump took them to the edge of Vaxari territory near their home system, the quantum system. The Crimson Nebula wrapped around the damaged HSS Harbinger like a thick blanket. The ship drifted slowly, its engines running at minimal power to avoid detection. Red and purple gases swirled outside the viewports, creating an otherworldly glow throughout the vessel. Inside the engine room, Kara Novak worked tirelessly. Her hands moved with practiced skill as she repaired damaged circuits and replaced burnt components. Sweat dripped down her face, but she did not stop. The survival of the crew depended on her work. The bridge captain, Melissa Carpenter, stood before a holographic display of the surrounding space. The nebula provided cover, but also trapped them. The Vaxari fleet had positioned ships at all possible exit points. "We need options," said Melissa, her voice tired after hours of crisis management. Lieutenant Olivia Winters studied the tactical display. "We could try to slip past their patrol at the southern edge," she suggested, pointing to a gap in the Vaxari formation. "There. Sensor coverage looks weaker there." Dr. Nicole Reeves, the ship's scientist, shook her head. "That area has the highest concentration of ionized particles. It would fry our remaining systems before we got halfway through." Diane Harper looked up from her communication station. "I have been analyzing the Vaxari transmissions," she said, excitement creeping into her voice. "They keep referencing something called the Harbingers of Doom, some kind of ancient warning about humans." "That is impossible," said Melissa. "We have never encountered the Vaxari before this mission." Nicole moved to Diane's station and examined the data. "Perhaps not us specifically, but maybe they encountered other humans, or they mistake us for another species from their history." The ship suddenly shuddered. A deep hum vibrated through the hull. "What was that?" asked Olivia, her hand moving to her weapon instinctively. Kara burst onto the bridge, her face flushed. "Captain, we have a situation," she announced. "You need to see this." The senior officers followed Kara through the damaged corridors of the ship down to a section of the lower hull that had been exposed during the attack. The metal plates had been peeled back, revealing something unexpected beneath. "What am I looking at?" asked Melissa, her eyes widening. "This is not standard hull material," said Kara, pointing to the strange metallic surface beneath the damaged outer layer. "It has been responding to the nebula's radiation, changing, adapting." Nicole knelt beside the exposed area, running a scanner over the surface. "This is quantum reactive material," she whispered. "I have only read theoretical papers about this technology." Melissa stared at the material, her expression unreadable. Then she straightened her shoulders. "I need to show you something," she said, her voice now formal. "Let us return to my ready room." Once inside the captain's private office, Melissa locked the door and entered a complex code into her personal console. A hidden compartment slid open in the wall, revealing a small metallic box. "Protocol Hydra," she said softly, removing the box and placing it on her desk. "This was not supposed to be activated unless under extreme circumstances. What is protocol?" Hydra asked Olivia, watching as the captain opened the box. Melissa removed a small device that pulsed with soft blue light. "Humanity has encountered hostile species before," she began, Some encounters ended peacefully. Others nearly led to our extinction. Earth learned valuable lessons from these encounters. The captain placed the device on her desk where it projected a holographic display of the Harbinger. But the image showed a very different ship than the one they knew. This version had advanced weapons systems, stealth technology, and capabilities they had never seen. The Harbinger is more than just a diplomatic vessel, Melissa continued. It is a prototype, designed to appear harmless while containing technologies that can be activated if necessary. Olivia stared at the hologram. Why were we not told about this plausible deniability? Explained Melissa. If you did not know about these systems, your reactions to first contact would be genuine. No deception for the Vaxari to detect. Then why did they attack us? Asked. Diane Nicole studied the hologram with fascination. They must have detected the dormant systems beneath our hull. The quantum material responds to certain scanning frequencies. Melissa nodded. The Vaxari use quantum entangled communications undetectable by standard methods, but they also emit unique energy signatures when scanning. That explains the spikes Kara detected. Kara crossed her arms. So our ship detected their scans and began to wake up. Exactly, said Melissa. And now the damage to our hull has accelerated the process. The Harbinger is transforming. What does this protocol Hydra actually do? Asked Olivia. Melissa touched the device, causing the hologram to expand, showing a complex sequence of transformations. It allows the ship to adapt to threats, enhances our capabilities, and most importantly, it contains a quantum communication system that can send signals instantaneously across vast distances to call for help. Asked Diane. Melissa smiled slightly. Something like that. The captain led them back to the bridge where she inserted the device into her command console. The ship hummed with new energy as systems previously hidden began to activate. Displays changed, showing capabilities none of them had known existed. We need to buy time, said Melissa. Our immediate goal is survival and misdirection. Kara returned to engineering to work with the newly awakened systems. While Nicole and Diane analyzed the Vaxari communications for weaknesses, Olivia stayed on the bridge with the captain developing tactical options. Hours passed as the Harbinger continued its transformation. Hidden compartments throughout the ship revealed advanced technology. Weapons emerged from beneath seemingly decorative panels. Sensor arrays extended from previously solid sections of hull. The crew watched in amazement as their diplomatic vessel became something else entirely. Something powerful, Captain, said Kara over the comm. I have found something else, a chamber hidden deep in the ship's core. It needs your authorization to open. Melissa nodded, though Kara could not see. It is time for Protocol Hydra. Phase 1, she said, inserting her command codes throughout the ship. Lights dimmed momentarily. Then a surge of power flowed through all systems. The nebula gases around the vessel swirled as if disturbed by an invisible force on the bridge. A new station emerged from the floor. A crystalline structure that pulsed with energy. Melissa approached it, placing her hand on its surface. The crystal responded, glowing brighter. Olivia, what would you do if you were hunting a single ship in this nebula? Asked Melissa. Suddenly I would wait, said Olivia. They have us surrounded. Eventually we would have to leave, and if you thought there might be more ships, I would spread my forces thin to cover more area, said Olivia, beginning to understand. Look for patterns. Movement. Exactly, said Melissa, smiling. This nebula has unique properties that shield us from detection, but it also responds to energy in interesting ways. The captain activated the crystal station. A holographic display showed the nebula and the Vaxari ship surrounding it. With precise movements, Melissa manipulated the display, creating energy signatures at specific points throughout the cloud. These will appear as engine trails, she explained. Echoes of movement. They will think we have more ships hiding in here. Diane looked up from her station with excitement. I can amplify those signatures with modified communication pulses, make them look like encrypted transmissions. Do it, ordered Melissa. As the false signals propagated through the nebula, the Vaxari ships began to move, breaking their formation to investigate different areas. It is working, said Olivia, watching the enemy ship scatter. Melissa nodded, but her expression remained serious. This is just the beginning. Phase 1 creates confusion. We need to prepare for Phase 2. She turned to a specialized console that had emerged near her command chair. With practiced movements, she activated a quantum communication system. The device hummed as it charged, building energy for a transmission that would travel faster than light without detection. "What message are you sending?" asked Olivia Melissa. "Input a complex sequence of codes." "The song begins," she said softly. "Let them hear the harmony." The quantum burst, fired invisible and untraceable, its message racing across space toward Earth, while around the Harbinger the nebula danced with false signals and phantom ships keeping the Vaxari searching for enemies that did not exist yet.